I can't say I don't, so I must have to say that I do love it. But okay, so what's up everybody? Conscious Approach live stream. Today is December the 29th. JB Wins is here, Dogon SS is here as usual. Before we begin with the content of the stream, I did want to briefly say rest in peace to John Madden. He John Madden framed a lot of my generation's perception and kind of, there's a lot of aspects of like football and entertainment that have a lot of ties to John Madden. So I just wanted to kind of get that. I wanted to say that because he's one of those guys who I feel like contributed a lot to the popularity of that sport. Whether we're talking about him calling games, because him coaching is a bit before our time, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to him being in the booth and calling games as well as the video game, that has a lot to do with the popularity of the sport, in my opinion. So, rest in peace, John Madden passed away yesterday at the age of 85. So rest in power to him. Now we can move on to the live stream. There was another week of content that dealt with dysfunctional stuff going on. And the first thing that came across my radar when I wanted to talk about on tonight's stream was Larsa Pippen. For anyone who doesn't know who Larsa Pippen is, she is the estranged wife because they're still legally married. She is the estranged wife of Scottie Pippen, and she is making a name for herself as I guess she's like a socialite. She's one of these Kim Kardashian. She's one of these Kardashian she's actually on the Real Housewives of Miami. She's on that show. Not that I watch it, I just kind of read it on one of the articles. Just kind of wanted to get that out there. But she's on that
Disclaimer.
show. Yeah. She's one of these socialite types, and she's someone who just kind of is, right? She just exists. I can't really point to what she does, and that's no slight. It's just that's what the situation is. I can't quite point to what she does, but she is an estranged wife to Scottie Pippen, and over the last few years, she has done what, in my opinion, is drag Scottie Pippen through the mud publicly by getting into all sorts of high-profile relationships with people in the entertainment and sports industries, whether it is, taking pictures at Future's house, wife, the rapper Future. That was an embarrassing situation because she's taking all of these photos at Future's house. Future doesn't actually want to be in a relationship, but she's embarrassing Scottie Pippen by being this person who, at least publicly, slurs herself out to rappers and entertainers. I don't think that that's unfair to say. And then she was in a short-term sort of situationship with NBA player Malik Beasley, who's like 20 years younger than her. Malik Beasley, coincidentally, played for Florida State, my alma mater, for I think 1 year before he went pro. He plays for the Memphis Grizzlies, and he was
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay, he plays for the Timberwolves. Sorry about that. He plays for the Timberwolves, and there was some weird thing between him and Larsa Pippen that lasted like a month before that ended, and it was just odd because she's like 47, he's like 22, so. Not exactly sure what's going on with that, but that is a brief background of Larsa Pippen. The reason why I wanted to kind of talk about Larsa Pippen is because her current endeavors trended online last week when she talked about how much money she makes on OnlyFans. Now, anyone who is familiar with this channel or my commentary knows how I feel about OnlyFans. I don't think I need to get into the weeds talking about my personal feelings when it comes to OnlyFans. I think that it is an abomination. Just to that's the abbreviated version. I think it's a disgrace, not because of what it is, but because of what it's become. And I just don't like how it is. I don't like how it has contributed to the continued perpetuation of the degradation of the staple of relationships. I think it's causing a lot of problems. That's just my personal opinion. Other people who like OnlyFans, you can do what you will with that. But Larsa Pippen started her OnlyFans account recently, and according to her, she earns $10,000 a day on OnlyFans. That's not $10,000 a week. That is not $10,000 a month. That's not $10,000 bi-monthly, quarterly, every 6 months. That is $10,000 a day on OnlyFans. And so I find this fascinating and interesting because I just can't wrap my brain around why this is happening. I guess the logic in me, the logic part of my brain, I'm so right brain in how I think, I don't understand why this stuff is happening. But this is yet another example of why we're in such a state of chaos when it comes to this relationship stuff, because it does factor. Don't think that it has nothing to do with why people are struggling with relationships today. It does have something to do with it. So I'm going to go ahead and share an article real quick just to add some context. This was an article from page 6. Just a few quotes here. It says, however, the Larsa Marie jewelry designer told her castmates, this is the castmates on The Real Housewives of Miami, that she is immune to any judgment as her side hustle purportedly earns her $10,000 a day. She goes on to say, the article rather goes on to say, in her OnlyFans bio, Pippen 47 promises, quote, an exclusive look at me modeling some of my favorite swimsuits, dresses, and jewelry designs I am most passionate about. The mom of 4 who shares Scotty 21, Preston 19, Justin 16, and Sophia 13 with her estranged husband, NBA star Scottie Pippen, also offers a glimpse at her dating life, or lack thereof. See what it's like, and this is a quote from her, see what it's like being chased by the world's richest, most athletic, and handsome men, still not finding that connection I've been looking for. That's where you come in, she writes. Suggesting that her soulmate could be waiting in her DMs. As a member of my OnlyFans, you will be able to tune into my live streams for a chance at a live virtual, not in person, at a live virtual date with me. Will I find my dream man on OnlyFans? Give it your best shot and we'll find out.
Nice.
So that is the first article. So I'm going to, that's that one. So we're going to get rid of that. And what I want to do is share another one to add even further context, and then we'll get into the commentary. I just, all of this stuff is just, to me, kind of madness. All right, so this is from Fadeaway World, this particular article talking about the same subject. It says, Larsa Pippen made her long-awaited return to the Real Housewives of Miami series on December 16th and wasted no time in drumming up new controversy for the show. The OG housewife, 47, that's her age, she's 47 years old, discussed her high earnings on OnlyFans, revealing she makes $10,000 per day on the platform. Though the site is mostly known for hosting X-rated images and videos sold to fans by sex workers and models. Quote, I reply more to the DMs there. I have all these guys from the Middle East. It's hilarious, she shared. The star, who is still legally married to basketball player Scottie Pippen, explained that her success on OnlyFans boiled down to building a community. When a co-star asked how the model's 4 kids, Scotty Jr. 21, Preston 19, Justin 16, and Sophia 13, felt about her having an OnlyFans account, the model revealed that she has not posted anything scandalous. Larsa made it clear she's not offering subscriptions for people to see her naked. Instead, she talks with these folks who she calls her friends. Think about it. If you could do something that was super easy at home and text with people, you become friends with these people. I am friends with these people, my friends on OnlyFans. I like them. I care about them. I check in on them. That's a lie. The reality star told Entertainment Tonight on December 2021, it's really fun. I do like the one-on-one and the exclusive content, things that I wouldn't post on Instagram. So these are some of the photos from her Instagram. You can see here. This is Larsa Pippen. Larsa Pippen, I will say, for a 47-year-old woman, is very attractive. I will not make it seem like she is just some, uh, hag who can't cut it. That would be disingenuous on my part. For 47 years old, she is very impressive looking. I will give her that much. However, I don't think that takes away from the spirit of what it is that I want to say here. And again,
We got some Pippin visuals, bro.
oh, did you not see it? You didn't see
No, no,
it?
no. Yeah, I saw the screen share, but I'm talking about the banner.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm sorry
No,
about that. I forgot. Sorry about
yeah.
that. All right, so so the OnlyFans thing, I've never wholly blamed women for the proliferation of things like OnlyFans, right? My stance has always been that it is men's behavior that allows for this type of thing to become as big as it is. In other words, if men aren't on OnlyFans subscribing to the platform, women do not have an outlet to earn women like Larsa Pippen do not have an outlet to earn $10,000 a day on OnlyFans. So ultimately, if you perceive this to be an issue, which I do, the responsibility is not on women to take advantage of the opportunity, but rather the responsibility is on men to stop feeding the beast. Get off of the platform, stop spending your hard-earned dollars subscribing to these OnlyFans pages. Let alone an individual such as Larsa Pippen, who has a history of taking advantage of situations in order to benefit her socially and from a financial standpoint. There is a history of this. But for the life of me, I can't understand why we can't wake up and cease this behavior. A few years ago, and this is the part about this that frustrates me more than anything, I think. So a few years ago, Ray Allen, a guy who you like, I like Ray Allen. If you're an NBA fan, you know who Ray Allen is. Within a basketball context, Ray Allen is always a guy whom I've admired. He's a good guy, stand-up guy. Never gotten into any trouble, no bad PR, no bad character situations. He's Ray Allen, he does his thing. Made the second most threes in NBA history, Ray Allen, man. He's, NBA champion with the Celtics and the Heat. I love Ray Allen. A few years ago, Ray Allen got some bad publicity because it was discovered that he was in the midst of thirsting for an Instagram model. He was being catfished. It was discovered that the person who Ray Allen thought that he was trying to get the attention of on Instagram wasn't actually an Instagram model at all, but was rather a guy who does this thing on the regular named Bryant Coleman. This guy Bryant Coleman was attempting to catfish Ray Allen by sort of luring Ray Allen into the trap of making him think that he was getting it in with an Instagram model. We all found out that it wasn't an Instagram model, but this guy Bryant Coleman. And what I said then, this was something that happened back in 2017. And what I said then is I don't understand why a person in Ray Allen's situation is even on Instagram trying to get the attention of women. Like, I feel as though guys who are going to resort to doing the Instagram DMing thing should be guys who don't have the requisite qualifications necessary to get women of that caliber on their own merit. So we've all sort of been conditioned to believe that in order to get one of these high-profile women, at least physically, that you should be a guy who yourself is high-profile, high-value, money and resources, net worth of a certain amount, and you also have the network of other high-profile individuals, mainly men, who can vouch for you. Ray Allen fits all of these qualifications, and nevertheless, he, like the rest of these simp NBA players and NFL players who can't help themselves, was on Instagram all in these chicks' DMs. And I think that this kind of behavior throws this whole relationship situation off balance, because it doesn't have to be a woman who's an Instagram model. It doesn't have to be a woman who's on OnlyFans. It can be an above average in terms of physical attractiveness woman who just is real social media savvy and is real good on Instagram. And now she can just jump straight to these NBA players and these NFL players, because these guys don't know how to equip themselves with the social skills needed to be able to get women in person on their own merit. And they don't even have to do as much work as the next guy, mind you. Like, you're Ray Allen. You could show up physically in any space and get any woman you want. So the need for you to be on Instagram perpetuates the continued degradation of the status of relationships, because there's no way to look up if any of that makes sense. At the very least, we should be able to take solace in knowing that if you achieve a certain stature, you can rest on the laurels of what you've achieved in order to have access to any woman that you want. But if you break through the fourth wall and submit yourself to DMing chicks on Instagram, which a lot of these athletes do, you're basically creating this environment where what I like to term hypergamy will always persist, because women can bring absolutely nothing to the table and contribute nothing to society, but nevertheless get the attention of any guy that they want, so long as they look a certain type of way, because this is the environment that we're faced with. And, for Larsa Pippen to talk about the fact that there are these guys in the Middle East who are subscribing to her quote unquote community on OnlyFans, I have to assume that these are rich men, because trust and believe, no guy stands the chance of winning a virtual date with Larsa Pippen who isn't a rich man. I don't care what anybody says. Her history suggests to me that no guy has access to a date with her, virtual or otherwise, if he is not a rich man. Which leads me to say, if you're a rich man, why subscribe to OnlyFans when you can just go out in any city in the world and get any woman that you want without having to be on OnlyFans thirsting and being a simp to these women's OnlyFans pages? It is a frustrating thing for me to observe continuously. As I've said before, I don't see an end in sight. And I think the fact that this woman earns $10,000 a day on this platform, I don't think that she is embellishing. I don't think that that's an exaggeration. I think she's telling the truth. And we are just watching this culture undergo a complete facelift right before our very eyes. And, where is the end to it? I don't know. But Larsa Pippen earning $10,000 a day on OnlyFans, largely being patronized by men who can afford to not have to be on OnlyFans, to me is frustrating. And those were just my initial thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures right now of Miss Larsa. Just the ones that Google will provide, so nothing X-rated.
I'm not sure she does. That's the thing, is she doesn't even do anything X-rated, I think. She just does the Kim Kardashian thing. It's just swimsuits and tight dresses, and it's this culture that we have wholly embraced, of just inflating the worth of attractive women just based solely off of the sake of their existence. In other words, I don't know what this woman is contributing to society. She just is. She exists. And so she can leverage that to earn $10,000 a day on OnlyFans, because we as men have just given up, and we say, listen, this is what we're willing to do. I relent. I'm a rich man, and although I have the money and resources to go to any city in the world, including my own city, and get the attention of women who are at least as attractive as her, plus half her age, I relent, and I'm just going to subscribe to Larsa Pippen's OnlyFans page and do my part to contribute to her $10,000 per day bag.
What's her membership fee?
I don't know. I don't know if it's an abundance thing or whether she charges a high price.
Let me find out while we do it. Because how are you making that much money a day if you're not doing nothing sexual?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she has a genius marketer behind her or some kind of genius marketing team. I don't know, man. But Larsa Pippen has what, 4 million followers on Instagram. Like, she has cultivated this name for herself via association with the Kardashians and all of that kind of stuff. Like, she's a real deal socialite, and I think it's easy for us to not comprehend the magnitude that that kind of exposure can have on your social media career, because we
Mhm.
simply don't exist in that world. But like, I feel as though it's entirely plausible because of what she has been able to galvanize for herself via her mere namesake.
Yeah, because they damn sure wanted me to like log in, and so I'm not logging in.
Yeah, ain't nobody going
But
for all of that.
but the reason why I was saying that was just because like how thirsty must one be? Uh, like what's the big deal? Um, what's the big deal about this? I still don't understand. Um, I understand the draw to OnlyFans to a degree, but that kind of money that they're making, um, I don't know how much money these men are spending. Uh, this is definitely troubling to me, but the only thing that's happening is that this is part of the billions of dollars that gets funneled into the pornography industry annually. It's just that instead of it going to big corporations that we never hear the name of, to some random PO box that we'll never see, it's now OnlyFans where the models are getting the money firsthand. So kind of like some creative control kind of thing for the thoughts, right? And so the money's going directly to them. So what's happened is instead of the money going all the way to these big pornography corporations
Mm-hmm.
and shadow websites online, they're actually going to a percentage of that
Yeah,
is being funneled directly into these OnlyFans models. And what's end up happening is that we're hearing the reported numbers to these things, but honestly, pornography, is always doing these ridiculous numbers. It's just that it's getting funneled directly to certain people. Now, in this instance, where we're dealing with Larsa Pippen and the mystique, I don't know the mystique around her, the uh, the mystery shrouding this woman. I do not understand what spell she's casting on people for her to be interesting to so many people. Like when I first heard about her and Future and all that other stuff a while ago, I was like, "What's the big deal?" And I was like, well, "And why is Future dealing with an older woman like that? Unless he's trolling." But it might have been a degree to it must be something she's saying. It must be her voice or something. Like I don't know what it is about her that's so appealing, because the only thing I see is plastic surgery. I just see um, a person that to me looks like is outside of maybe some financial stuff she may have overheard or the lifestyle she lives. I'm pretty sure she knows stuff about money and lifestyle stuff now that she could put me on game on. But as far as who she is as a person, like I don't see if she even knows who she is to provide value to a person like myself. So she just seems to be a shell of a person who has plastic surgery, and she looks fake and artificial. She deals with athletes and entertainers, but she can't seem to find one. That sounds like a problem. And so, to me, this is just a woman who is an attention seeker. Um, I would say that for her to even find Scottie Pippen and get married to Scottie Pippen required talent enough as it is. It was just talent that was used back then, and she's still using her talents now to captivate the world. And so I'm surprised by 10,000 a day. That is a wild figure. I don't know.
How
what it
much money do you
is.
think if Kim Kardashian were to start an OnlyFans? How much money do you think she would earn per day?
Is she doing something sexual or not?
Let's say she's not, but
if she's not,
It's Kim Kardashian though.
if she's not, I would say, yeah, I would say she'd be turning in about 20, 30,
Yeah,
maybe.
I think that's what I think she has played this socialite game as strategically as anyone could possibly play it.
Which is
That's
Kardashian
where
or
I
this
think
one?
I'm no talking about Larsa Pippen.
Okay.
Because back when that show was in its heyday, Larsa Pippen used to be on that show often. There's that connection, and I think that combined with Scottie Pippen thing, combined with the fact that she's always with either a rapper or an NBA player, when you combine all of that, that's what I think sort of fuels this. That's what I think gaslights her being able to make $10,000 a day. It's just,
Got it.
yeah, like I just, and like we're removed from this kind of stuff, right? Because we don't exist in the world of Real Housewives of this and Love and Hip Hop of that and OnlyFans this and Instagram that. Like I don't scroll through my Instagram feed for hours in a day. I don't live my life like my life isn't constructed that way. Like my life isn't constructed around social media and the internet as much as I believe most of the population is. So I think that when we're trying to connect the dots and understand why this is happening, part of the reason why we're having a difficult time connecting those dots is simply because we just don't exist in that world. But I don't have to exist in that world to understand the effect that this kind of stuff is having on the rest of the general population. And I just find it to be a frightening thing. And like when you met, like Larsa Pippen is no different than the rest of these chicks who commit themselves to this kind of lifestyle. When you talk about the plastic surgeries or talking about her not being a whole person or all of the other stuff that you were saying, how is that any different than the rest of these chicks who do this? What's the
Really,
difference?
that's what I'm saying. Like I
Yeah.
don't get it. I don't get. But I didn't know she was. Excuse me, y'all. I didn't know she was on the Kardashian show. Now that's to me that's a big thing, and because that means she runs. I didn't know she ran with her, and so her being a running mate of Kardashian, and so basically, I only knew of her from being Scottie Pippen's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where a lot of the shock comes from. But if we just knew that she was a megathot, like a witch, because Miss Kardashian, I'm so used to calling people Miss. All right, witch Kardashian, I'll call her that, not Miss. But Kim Kardashian is and her family of her sisters and all of that stuff, like and the Jenners and all of that stuff that's going on is very strategic, very planned out. It's mathematical. Their business ventures whenever they deal with these men, and so if this woman was running with Kardashian in the past, well then Pippen was just no different than Tristan Thompson.
Yeah. It does
And
seem that way, doesn't it?
that's all that happened.
Yeah.
Because what we hear about Pippen's marriage with this woman was that Pippen was always around doing his thing and blah 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 blah. So then they just started living separate, even though they were together. And so to me, it just sounds as though Pippen for her was good branding. So she had a good brand by being Scottie Pippen's wife. She's still using that name right now.
Yes,
The
she
only
is.
reason why I'm talking about her is because her last name's Pippen. Because if she was some other random whatever woman, she'd still be getting attention because she ran with Kardashian, but it wouldn't have that cachet of having Pippen as the last name. It's actually she's using the Pippen as a look, y'all. Look at what Scottie Pippen's wife is doing. Look, y'all. And it's just like, hey man, if you're done with this guy, drop that name and get
Yeah,
into the other name or something.
hence why they have not gotten a divorce.
Yeah,
There's a definite reason as to why there has not been a divorce because she does not want to give up the name. for
Right.
very obvious reasons.
Yeah, it's a business venture for her.
Yes, yeah,
And
yeah.
so this OnlyFans shenanigans is just a business venture for her. But here's the thing. And as you was talking about, is males and all this other stuff that are feeding this beast. And as we mentioned in previous conversations, man, about the involuntary celibacy that's going down, all right. And then, so what's happening here? And some red pillars may get upset, okay, but a lot of people who get into the red pill stuff are people who struggle getting vagina on a regular basis anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they're just into this victim blaming mode that all women suck. And then it's like, look, bro, all women do suck, but not the way you're talking about, sir. All right. And so they will choose on you if you're on your square and doing what you need to do. I don't mean to get all grandiose, but I'll go in a little tangent here. Women, like how they say, oh, women are like the universe is feminine and all that other stuff. The women, universe is feminine energy and all that. And so, women to me are a reflection of the universe. So, as a whole, so as a man, when you're on your purpose and on your square, you attract not just money, you attract women because you're on your purpose. So naturally, when you step out of the door, purpose is all over you. It is natural pheromones. Women are going to be opening their doors. Hey, I smell somebody on their purpose. What's going on here? And then it just starts coming towards you.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the guys that are feeding into this beast, as you mentioned, are not on their purpose. They're on Call of Duty. They're on 2K. They're on some other form of MK Ultra mind control. And so these people are struggling with having their own purpose, having being on their square as men. And so that's why they'll, yeah, I got paid nothing. I can barely pay my rent, but I'm still going to have, more money in OnlyFans fees than I'm spending on my phone bill and my yeah.
So
And
let me ask you a question, because I
mm,
don't disagree with what you're saying, but let me ask you a question.
mm.
Do you think that people like Larsa Pippen and Brittany Renner, uh, I'm just saying, cut from similar cloths.
No, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, cut from similar cloths. So do you think women like Brittany Renner, Larsa Pippen, some of these other IG models, the chick that we about to talk about in the next topic, Ari Fletcher, these women like this, do you really think that they care? Like, do you think that they are caring about getting with a guy who's on a square?
So getting with him to be with him overall, no.
The reason why I'm asking that question is because these women, I just read some quotes about what she said about how her dating life has been unsuccessful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brittany Renner's made comments, and all of these women talk about when they do podcast interviews or they're on some dumb TV show, they all wax poetically about looking for a good man in a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they commit themselves to the same pattern of behavior over and over again that lands them in these same types of relationships that are doomed to fail from the beginning.
Right.
Yet if you ask them in a vacuum, they'll give you all the right answers in the world about what kind of guy that you're looking for, what kind of relationship you want, you care about this, what your priorities and what your preferences are. But their behavior their behavior is not consistent with any of that rhetoric. So what I am suggesting to you is, as much as I might agree principally with what you're saying, I truly believe that our culture is undergoing a transition in terms of the things that people sort of prioritize when it comes to what I look for in my relationship. And I think OnlyFans is a reflection of that. I think we are moving away from the advent of women being genuinely attracted to men who are on their square. And we're moving more towards what I would characterize as hypergamy. Because, as I've said before, I don't think hypergamy is a bad thing. I think hypergamy makes sense.
Right.
It exists for a reason, and it does make sense.
Right.
If I have a daughter, I don't want my daughter getting with a guy who's broke. Like,
Right.
I don't want my daughter getting with a struggle rapper or
Right.
a guy who's broke. No, get with a guy who makes money and who knows what he's doing and makes good decisions, and he's stable and has a good, strong, solid foundation. So yeah, hypergamy makes complete sense. But what we're seeing here is hypergamy. And we're using these vessels and these vehicles of technology in order to exacerbate the issue, because women are saying, I don't give a shit about squares. I just want this checklist of items, and I'm going to extract as much as I can for as long as I can out of each situationship that I find myself in, so long as I have these hash marks checked off. And once it ends, I can move on to the next situation and do it all over again.
So how do you get chosen to be extracted from by these women?
I don't think you should be trying to get extracted by these women. Oh,
No.
repeat the question.
So how do the women choose the men to extract from?
Oh, they can spot a mark a mile away. I mean, let's be honest, bro. Like, only the guys it's only the men who are sort of marks to be extracted.
Okay, hold on.
Who are going to do these things.
Now, when I get what you're saying as far as extract, so not literal extraction, like literal hardcore simping. What I mean is, how do they find their potential victim? What are they looking for in their potential victim?
Because those victims come to them. They don't have to do anything. Like, when you create when you have an OnlyFans, you don't have to seek these men. They come to you.
Right. So when Brittany Renner is doing what Brittany Renner does, she goes to the games. She puts herself in positions to be whatever, but she already knows what she's looking for. Right?
Yes.
She's looking for athletes.
Yes.
That are in the NBA.
Yes.
Not in the D League.
Yeah.
So when it comes to athletes, she's looking for the ones that were on their square enough to make it to the NBA. Now, if they were just talented enough to make it to the NBA, they still put in enough hours in the gym, more than that guy, to make it in the NBA.
Right.
So that guy was on his square enough to get chosen by a woman, and a lot more like her. That's just because you're getting chosen by women doesn't mean you're always going to choose the right kind. The point I'm trying to make is putting yourself in position to where you are attracting that many women, to knock down that many women, instead of being in the room playing Call of Duty. So being on your square puts you in a hypergamous situation that all these women are seeking. And so if you want to be a guy that's getting vagina on a regular basis, position yourself in the more competitive market that's going on nowadays, and be that guy that's making that hypergamous money, instead of being the person that's just whining and complaining all the time.
Right.
And by positioning yourself even in the micro, not even in the macro. You don't even have to have it in the big time. If you're on your square as you are now, you'll attract all the little fish that's around you now.
I agree.
You'll get that vagina now, huh?
I agree, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll get that vagina now. So not the Brittany Renners and stuff like that, because they're looking for big fish with bigger money than yours.
Yeah.
So that's okay. So the higher you go on the scale, the more women you will attract. And as big as that net goes, because Malik Beasley could get whoever he wanted if they just knew who Malik Beasley. Bro, you talk. I don't know who you is. I'm Malik Beasley. I play for the Timberwolves. So the only thing she has to do is do a Google search, and she falling in love.
Yeah.
She never even heard of the dude before.
Right.
He just met her at the mall.
Yeah.
Right. So he's got a broad net. His net is so broad, fish like these get in there. The hunter fish, the ones that's out here with no intent to find real love, just extraction.
Yes.
Now, but for those guys that get caught up in those situations, I agree, they do simp. Those guys are, because they're willing to pay. It's ridiculous. And it's like, this is like high class prostitution. You don't care, right? No,
Yeah.
no, and then you get mad in your feelings and all this other weird stuff. I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on.
You become a woman hater, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on with that. So
Yeah.
that is a whole nother degree. But guess what? Those guys were working hard at their craft, not working hard at everything else, not completely being in their square as men. So since they were just working hard at the craft of being on their square on the basketball court or the football field, they're lacking the capacities when it comes to being really socially competent. And so then once they meet these women, then they get extracted because they're not really on their square on all bases. So they don't
Yeah.
have
So
300. They don't have 360 degrees. Go ahead.
yeah, no. No, I hear what you're saying. It's just I don't think that. Okay, so I guess you and I have different interpretations of quote unquote being on your square. So I don't think if you're a guy who makes it to the league, I don't think that you're on. I don't think that means you're on your square. I just think that you mastered a craft and you worked hard. Like, and now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't. That's not to take. That's not to take away from your work ethic or how hard you've worked at that. No one becomes a professional athlete who doesn't work extremely hard,
Right.
and who doesn't have an undying dedication to being able to master it to the best of your ability to reach the pinnacle of those heights.
Mm-hmm.
However, that to me does not mean that you are holistically on your square.
Absolutely.
So the what I am saying is guys who have reached that pinnacle, their marks, and then you have the guys who have not reached the pinnacle who are also marks, the guys playing Call of Duty and 2K. And so my overall point is guys who aren't on their square are outnumbering guys who are, and they're outpacing the men who are at an extreme rate.
Yeah.
And that's what's causing the imbalance. See, what I am speaking to is the imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
There is no balance with this stuff because men who are at the top, who are devoid of the necessary skills in order to, be on their square, are getting caught being a mark. And then you have guys who just don't have it together whatsoever. I agree with you. These guys are, spending more time online than they are spending at the pub or the bar or the arcade or the bowling alley. They don't even have an interest in trying to meet women in person at all. They've just resigned themselves to subscribing to OnlyFans pages and being on Pornhub all day. The point that I am making and what concerns me overall is that it seems apparent to me that men who are marks, and just in and of itself being a mark as a man, is now vogue. It seems to be trendy to be a mark, and it seems to be something. It's like I said. It seems to me that the rate of men who just willfully are willfully marks are far outpacing the men who are, and so that lack of a balance is creating this environment where people like Larsa Pippen can earn $10,000 a day on OnlyFans.
Right.
And that's what frustrates me. So as much credence and credit that I'm willing to give to a guy who makes it to the league, hey man, go for it. You're a guy who made it to the league. I believe, and this might seem high and mighty and sanctimonious, but this is just how I think. But if you make it to the league, I believe that you have a responsibility to hold yourself to a standard that lends itself to a woman earning her way into your cipher. So if I am at the pinnacle and I'm at the top of the food chain, a lion is not going to mate with a hyena. And I hate to compare it to I hate to make animal analogies, but like if you're at the top of the food chain, if you have self-actualized, I just think that you have a responsibility to not resign yourself to trying to meet with them by DMing them on Instagram, by getting with these Instagram models who earn a living off of the social notoriety and the financial gain that they get by leveraging their physical appearance and creating the illusion that they are somebody who you want to be in a relationship with. So for you to be somebody who is a man who is at the top of the food chain, high value, as people like Kevin Samuels and all these other content creators like to talk about, for you to be somebody who reaches the pinnacle of that, and you're at the top of the food chain, and you're still trying to get the attention of women as if you were a buzzard, I don't think that sets the right tone when we're talking about relationships and people in general and relational dynamics and all of these things that we talk about being in disarray, you're not doing your part to set the right tone.
So
And that's the part that I get at here with this. If there were more of us who are willing to commit to setting the right tone, Larsa Pippen's not making $10,000 a day on OnlyFans. She wouldn't be.
fair.
Not saying that she wouldn't be bereft of profit, but $10,000 a day to me is an indication of where we are as a culture. This is the direction that we're moving in.
Mm-hmm. Right, and what I'm saying is like, and so you brought up the Kevin Samuels point, right? And so one thing that the Kevin Samuelites will tell you, right? Because I'm pretty sure there's some of them that are here, right? Or if you're post talk watching this, you're like, "Hey, Samuel says that." I'm not going to do that. But so this is what Kevin Samuel says. So Kevin Samuel, this is his take on high value men, and I know what point you were making, but let me clear this up for everybody else. But what Kevin Samuel says, as far as like high value men and all that stuff, is basically he says that athletes and entertainers don't count.
Yeah, correct.
And so since athletes and entertainers don't count, it's because they can just get rich quick type of situation. Right. And due to the fact that they can get rich quick, they're missing stuff when it comes to being on your square.
Yeah.
You're just not a complete person yet. You just got rich because you know how to dribble a basketball good. You just got rich because you came out with that song that's hot.
Yeah.
But you weren't balanced enough to get here like somebody that had to learn the ropes of finances and build his way to his bankroll. You know what I'm saying? That guy that built his way to his bankroll has a lot more knowledge about life than the guy who had a hit single and went straight to the top.
Right.
That's why women like them prey on those guys, because they have the real bag, but none of the antibodies or immune system to deflect their
foolishness,
stuff,
right.
their foolishness.
Right.
And so they get right into their systems, and then it's a system overload, and these guys don't know what to do because this bad whatever, all right, is blowing up my phone, giving up the head whenever I want, doing this, doing that. She is nasty as I want her to be. I tell her to bring in another girl, she doing it. Yeah, bro, but why is she doing that? Wake up, bro. Next thing you know, she pops up pregnant, and now she all on Instagram saying, "I want more kids. Hide your babies."
Mm-hmm.
That's why they target those guys, because they didn't do the hard chiseled work it takes to go all. That's what I'm saying. They chiseled themselves on a basketball court, so in a sense, they were on their square, but only in athletics.
Yes,
they were missing all this other stuff. Not holistically. So it was missing all this other stuff. And women like Pippen, right, take advantage of that. Women like Renner take advantage of these guys' lack of knowledge. So we're on the same page. You know what I'm saying? And so, but this situation highlights all of that. And I agree with you 100%. And that's why I brought up the guys who are involuntarily celibate right now, and how it's being encouraged all over media and everywhere because of all the accessibility that they're given. The next thing, hey, by the way, man, now the sex toys for men are going crazy now. That was just for women. Now the sex toys for men are going crazy.
Insanity.
Right. So now it's just like, hey, well, why even leave the house?
Yeah.
If I got a machine to give me fellatio.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me, bro? Go out the house and get the real thing. Yeah, but I can set this. And I can do this for 30 minutes straight and they gonna complain. Bro, wake up, bro.
Wake up. It's just like, I just think that what we're seeing is we are seeing a lot more women are looking at the landscape and they're saying, if she can do it, I can do it too. Like that's what I'm thinking is going on. So like, whereas before this type of behavior was only resigned to the Brittany Renners and Leah Petty's and Larsa Pippens of the world and people like this, now I think what we're seeing is other women in regular society are kind of looking around and they're saying, well, I can do this too. I get DM'd all the time on Instagram. I can do it too. So I just think the ranks of these respective groups are just on the rise. Women who are the prey, using the word predator, like, I don't women who women who are willing to commit themselves to a period of time in which they live their lives in such a way that they are only willing to get into situationships and various other relationships of convenience in order to have access to certain resources that they can extract. That was a more poetic way of calling a woman a predator. So like women who are willing to commit to that, those women are just look like women, and this can be anybody, right? So these are no longer IG models or chicks who do OnlyFans. This can be just a girl who looks good, who's going to school, or who's a server at a restaurant, or who's a bartender at a bar. This is something that's happening all throughout the recesses of normal, regular society. Women are looking around and they're saying, I can do this too. I can be a sugar baby too. I can do these things too. It's on the rise. And then conversely, guys who are just lacking in those basic fundamental skills, that lend themselves to being successfully when it comes to how to deal with women, that's on the rise as well. And so I just feel like both of it is on the rise.
Yeah, it is.
And that's what I find to be alarming about it, is that, we're kind of staring down the barrel, involuntary celibacy on the part of men, at least, because women ain't having less sex. They're just all sharing the same men that they're having sex with. But women aren't having less sex. So it's like, men who are involuntarily celibate and men who are, voluntarily infertile. We are seeing these things on the rise. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
I ain't mean to laugh.
I don't think that there's any other way to put it. That's about as aptly as I can put it, because how else do you describe someone such as Larsa Pippen being able to earn that much money a day on OnlyFans? And it's not even like, you know what I'm saying? She's attractive and all, but she's 47. It's not like she's 20, 21, 22, one of these other younger chicks who are social media famous just for being themselves and leveraging their physical appearance. Like, you can be 47, 50, it seems, and still be able to get into this game and do what you do. And so I find this type of stuff alarming. Again, it's nothing that's going to make me think that the world is coming to an end, but I'm watching this stuff. I observe it, I'm watching it, and I'm kind of seeing the shift in how we deal with one another as men and women. And so, stuff like this is just an ancillary byproduct of that core function that is changing right before our very eyes.
And so, what's the percentage? 20% of men having sex with what?
So the colloquial understanding is that at the most 30% of the men are sexually active with 100% of the women. So 70% of the men, at least 70% of men who are of sexual maturity age are involuntary celibate or voluntarily infertile.
All right, so this is where we're at, guys. All right, so let's get on the right side of that 30%. All right, so if you feel as though you're fringing it, all right, just make the decision to be on the 30% that's having all the fun. Because I didn't know the number was that high. I'm apparently part of the 30% that's having fun. So I didn't know that was going on like that. So get on the right side, guys. It's fun over here.
Think about it, man. If a 47-year-old mother of four, who's a estranged wife of a basketball player, who has a body count that is extensive in the entertainment and sports industries. Okay, I didn't say anything just then that's not true.
No,
if a woman who meets that profile can earn $10,000 a day on OnlyFans, what do you think is the rate of involuntarily celibate men?
That's funny too. No, factual.
I'm just saying, like, what do you think? What do you think? Like, what do you think is going on? See, again, we're not a part of this world because we're out here in the field making plays.
You gotta be in the field.
So we're out in the field making plays. So, but I'm looking at the data and I'm watching these videos and I'm looking at these figures.
Happening.
You know what I'm saying? Like $10,000 a day. That is beyond the pale. in
Well,
terms of earnings.
that's what I'm saying. We can just hop to the next one, but that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of guys on the internet, and because rightfully so, right? So there is a disconnect when it comes to male and females right now, especially in the Black community, when
Yeah,
it comes to like being on the same page. So there is a genuine frustration that's there,
yeah,
and sometimes we voice that genuine frustration. But then there's another gear that some of these guys take it. They take it to another gear to the point where it seems like they're almost mad
yeah,
and like they hate women. It's like,
yeah,
bro, what's that?
yeah.
Because I get enough vagina to not feel like that.
Right,
Sounds like
right,
you're not even getting none at all.
right.
You know, so
Yes.
we don't
Yeah.
want to be that here at the Conscious Approach.
Right.
All right, we're part of the 30%. We're part of the elite,
Yeah,
the
man. And
chosen.
yeah, yeah. That's very very salient. And there's also research that's been done, and we'll go ahead and move on. But there's also research that's been done that shows that the median age of virginity loss for men has gone up, whereas the median age for virginity loss for women has stayed the same or gone down. So like it's becoming more and more regular to see guys who are in their late 20s who are still virgins, but the women are still losing their virginities. Yeah. Mid to late 20s, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Whoa.
Mid to late 20s, yeah. Definitely like 24, 25, that's a normal thing. But we're seeing more guys like 26, 27, 28 still virgins.
Nah,
Meanwhile,
I
women
can't
are
buy that. I can't buy
yeah,
that.
meanwhile, women are still losing their virginity around the same
I can't buy
level. So like 16, 17, 18, stuff like that is like the mean. So if that hasn't changed, but the mean age for men has gone up, there goes that
that.
30% number again, because it just means that these girls are just having sex with the same small percentage of men.
Wow.
So
Yeah, we're gonna
food for
have to
thought on
revisit.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to revisit that because
Yeah.
I didn't know they were that. I didn't know they were getting that old, bro.
I'll look it up. And I'll send it
Bro,
to
hell,
you, and we can
25 is wild
yeah,
nowadays. Like,
I'll look it up and I'll send it to you. We can make a video out of it. But this
wow.
shit is real, bro. Like it's not sweet out here.
Yeah, my bad. If somebody here,
That's
man.
why do you think when I make comments about we're just gonna have to accept westernized polygamy, when I say that, I'm not just saying it just to say it. I'm saying it because I'm looking at what's going on and I'm looking at the information. So,
Let's do our part 30%. Let's do our part.
it's just
We got a lot of making up to do. All right. We got 40%
yeah.
of men out there that are just not handling their business. That's double our work, honestly. Like
And
we could
it's
just double
like
it up.
I'm right.
Damn near
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I'm not even saying that you gotta be out here getting into monogamous relationships. But as a guy, you need to be out here having sex. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. You can say it's crass if you want, but if you're a dude, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, women too. I'm not trying to discriminate or nothing like that, but it's just like you need to be out here having sex.
Having a
Seriously.
healthy sex life is a part of having a
Yeah,
healthy life.
yeah. Seriously. Like it's crazy, man. And that, kids, is why I hate OnlyFans.
Yeah.
All right, but we'll move on. So on a somewhat related but different topic, we have I wanted to talk about this because I kind of saw it trending a little bit, and I thought it was hilarious, but also revealing. So Ari Fletcher, like Larsa Pippen, is another one of these. I don't know what she does. I only know who she is because when I've listened to some of my, like when I listen to DJ Who Kid and the Hollywood Shuffle, my radio music shows, or a few music podcasts that I listen to, her name comes up because she's one of those. I don't think she's an artist. I just think that she's like a chick who runs with rappers. I don't know. She has a social media following, so she's a socialite. She's one of those. She's another one of these females who leverages her physical appearance for notoriety. She doesn't contribute to society otherwise. She simply just is. She exists. She simply just is. I believe she is the girlfriend of rapper Moneybagg Yo, another one of these younger rappers who I don't listen to. Because all of his songs are I will shoot this guy, or I'll rob this guy, or I will, F this B. and I've just gotten old enough that I can't listen to that all day. So she's the girlfriend of Moneybagg Yo. Ari Fletcher is her name. She was on a podcast recently with what's this chick's name? Don't Call Me White Girl. She hosts some kind of podcast that's apparently popular, and we ran across this clip of them talking about certain aspects of relationships, and so she's made these comments, and I thought that it was interesting enough to do a video, so we can go ahead and run that.
All right, cool.
Even if you toxic, even if you wild, you crazy, whatever, the right nigga can really like show you the way.
No, because he make me feel like, bitch, how old is you? Like, grow the fuck up.
Oh, he get you.
Yeah, he do that to me. It makes me be like, okay, let me, because I used to pack my shit up. Like, bitch, I'm leaving. Fuck you.
That's
Facebook in
me.
the flight. Really never booked the flight. Facebook in the flight. Like, call my mama. Like, bitch, book me a flight home. Fuck this nigga. You know, call my mama, throwing shit, breaking shit, fighting, and then like, now you gotta stop me from leaving. But I was never going nowhere.
Oh yeah, you talking
Like,
about
pull your gun out and show me, like, bitch, leave. I wish you would walk out the door.
right.
Like,
She's gonna shine. She's gonna shine. She's gonna Chicago.
you already pull your gun out.
So how long are we supposed to play? First minute?
Yeah, you can go ahead and cut it off.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can stop it. So yeah, that was her talking about how now, we know women are excited by their emotions, and so women pulling stunts like they're gonna leave, but they want you to stop them, things like that. That's nothing new, right? That's old news. We all know that that's sort of the way that their affect type brain tends to operate. But when she talked about how she wants him to pull his gun out to express how much he needs in order for him to express how much he doesn't want her to leave, he needs to pull his gun out to sort of threaten, or she insinuated threaten to shoot me in order to stop me from leaving. I thought that was interesting. I'm not going to say I thought it was good or bad or otherwise. I'm just going to say that I thought it was interesting. Just to provide context on the type of person that she is. She also said further down the line in that interview, the interviewer, Don't Call Me White Girl. I don't know if that's her name or not.
Let me find her name real quick.
Yeah, I looked on a YouTube page and it didn't say what her name was. It just said
I had it. I found it a second ago. Keep going. I'll find it for you.
So she also said later on in that interview, she was asked, could you date a guy who was a manager at Target? And she said no, she couldn't. She didn't. She felt as though the question was beneath her providing further explanation as to why she wouldn't date a guy who was a manager at Target. But she was just like, no, that's just not going to work. And then she said, for my birthday, I wanted a Rolls Royce, as if to suggest that a guy who is a manager at Target couldn't afford to get her a Rolls Royce for her birthday, which he couldn't. So it's not that that's false, but that's just the kind of chick she is. She'll want to be with a guy who can buy her a Rolls Royce for her birthday.
Mona Love.
Mona, what is it?
Mona Love.
Oh, I've heard that name before.
Yeah, Mona Love.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Mona Love asked her if she would get with a guy who was a manager at Target, and that was her response. She's the type of chick who needs to be with a man who can afford to buy her a Rolls Royce for her birthday. Take that, if you take that, however way you want. That's for your, digestion of information. Just thought I'd provide you some context. But yeah, so I think that when she talks about how she wants money, in this case is Moneybagg Yo, because that's who she's in a relationship with, to pull his gun out and threaten to shoot her in order to stop her from leaving, I think that comes from a genuine place for her. I think on her part, that's a genuine emotion. She wants a guy to go to that kind of a state of being in order to prove that you don't want him, that he doesn't want you to walk out the door. And I just wanted to get your take on whether you think that is, first of all, good. Do you feel good, bad, or indifferent about that? Either way. And do you think that that's something that's more and more common in terms of, you know, wanting, relishing being in that type of dysfunctional situation? Because that's
Uh,
just what you think relationships are supposed to be.
no, I think this is kind of a situation where it's like there's a spectrum of hurt that goes on for people in the inner cities, as we can call it that, right? And so there's a spectrum of hurt that exists there. So there's people who grew up in a hurt context, seen some hurtful things, and therefore want to be hurt themselves when it comes to their relationship. And then there's people who may have seen those things, but are repulsed by those things. And since they saw it coming up, they don't want anything to do with it. I think this is a context of what this young lady, this, what is her name?
Ari Fletcher.
Ari, right?
Yeah.
Ari. All right. And unlike the Pippen lady, by the way, this one here is actually attractive, right? So this one here is actually attractive. This one makes sense to me, all right? But to hear her talk that way, it's, I don't mean to sound inner racist when I say this, if that's a way to say it, but this is just BET talk. And I use BET for an example because BET does this thing where they glorify uh, kingpins, guys who went to jail for selling drugs and introducing crack into our neighborhoods, and then glorifying those guys as if they're some type of superhero to black people, and making whole docu-series about these guys, and then showing, oh yeah, by the way. And so her dating Moneybagg Yo, and by the way, I kind of am a fan of Moneybagg Yo. It was one mixtape I forgot. I think it was No Love 2. I think that was, I really liked that one. Or is it No Love 1? One of them. But either way, that one, it went hard. But am I listening to his stuff currently? I cannot, for the reasons that you stated. I can't. I'm not in that vibration anymore. Even though he just came out. I'll say I was listening to his music probably like 4 years ago or 5 years ago, but I'm not in that space anymore, man. I can't listen to that. So I'll let the young people listen to it. But as far as Moneybagg as a person, I'm a fan of him. I feel like he does rap the right way for nowadays. He could be wilding out a lot more, but unfortunately, a lot of our rappers have to talk about selling cocaine. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
And so he's no different. He's in that boat. So, but to hear her talk about this toxic form of love, it's just all it is to me. This sounds like people who don't know what love really is. So she thinks love is somebody pulling a gun on her. This is also a thing where she's trying to make herself seem so hood that pulling a gun on her is attractive to her. Again, that only comes from a mindset of people who think that selling crack to our communities is okay. So she's playing up and peddling that she's some, excuse my French, but some hood bitch that's a real bitch and that can handle a man pulling a dope selling rapper to pull his gun on her because he loves her so much. Hopefully that made some sense.
It did, yeah, it does. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just the absurdity of it is, I just wanted to laugh, but it did make sense though.
Yeah. And I think that's where we're at in this case. She seems very young, and hopefully she doesn't sound like this when she's 35, but it sounds like she will.
Yeah, she will.
And with the advent of housewives, rapper wives, this and that, she's going to parlay this socialite career
absolutely
into her just being the girl that used to date Moneybagg Yo.
Absolutely.
Now she's dating Money Bank Yao. Right. And then so now she's dating that guy, and everybody knows her from that If she can have a kid from one of these people, now she's got.
She's definitely on the fast track to Love and Hip Hop New Orleans or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
wherever they're stationed, right?
Yeah.
Memphis.
Yeah.
Right, love it. I don't think they want to love. No disrespect to Memphis, but I don't think they want to love and hip hop in Memphis.
They'll put one there.
That thing would be wild.
Yeah, they'll put
From
one.
From what I hear about what goes on in Memphis, y'all wild out there. Y'all wild out there. But hey man, if they have one, hey, so be it, man. But yeah, dude. So yeah, this just seems like hurt. This seems hurt to me. It just sounds like a lot of pain. I'm leaving. I'm not. It sounds like a lot of unnecessary. You ain't going nowhere. I'm leaving. And it just sounds like narcissistic trash. You know. So I'm sorry that I'm sorry Moneybagg has to go through that, and I'm sorry that Moneybagg is dating a woman that she feels as though that's the level of commitment you need to have.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I have to disagree with you there.
Okay,
we cannot. No, I do not feel sorry for him because we are talking about two sides of the same coin, and on her end, that's what she brings to the table, and on Moneybagg's end, on the other end of the spectrum, as a man, it's the same dysfunctionality. We're just talking about two sides of the same coin. I don't feel sorry for him at all. He is willfully with her because just like she thinks love is, I want to do it to pull his gun on me, he believes love is, I want a bitch who gonna threaten to walk out all the time and get loud and say crazy stuff. So it's two sides of the same coin. So I don't feel sorry for either one. That's fair. Not saying that you shouldn't. I'm just saying I gotta separate with you when you on that part. Yeah. So I do think that this is an interesting lens through which to view socioeconomics for sure. Because again, like I think what we're looking at here is like relationships nowadays, unfortunately, are inherently dysfunctional. So there are varieties, therefore, of dysfunctionality. You have dysfunctionality in relationships with people who grew up upper class. So you have upper class dysfunctionality, you have middle class dysfunctionality, you have poor dysfunctionality, you have poor rich dysfunctionality, you have disenfranchised dysfunctionality. And so, I think the sentiments that she expressed are, like I said at the top of this topic, I don't think she's expressing sentiments that are particularly groundbreaking. People who desire to be in dysfunctional relationships desire to be in that kind of a whirlwind of toxicity on a regular basis. So this is just a variety of that kind of toxicity. And so, when you bring up BET talk, that was the first thing that came to my mind. I feel like this is what Black dysfunctionality looks like. So, unfortunately, and you can look at the numbers, there are 40 million Black people in America. The vast majority of Black people are still growing up statistically within a disenfranchised context. So it stands to reason that the relationships therein are going to be dysfunctional and disenfranchised, if you will, if you can think of a relationship in terms of being disenfranchised, because I know it doesn't directly correlate, but you get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So whereas upper class people, affluent people, even let's just say non-Black people, white people, whomever, even Black people who grew up affluent or in a higher socioeconomic, bracket, their form of dysfunctionality is, if you keep talking crazy to me like that, I'll divorce you. If you keep talking crazy to me like that, I'll go cheat on you. You keep talking crazy to me like that, I'm going to throw a brick through your car window. So what we're looking at with her comments is just that on the other, it's just a different variety of it. For her, it's, oh, you keep talking to me like that, you better pull your gun on me to stop me from leaving because otherwise I'm out the door. I just think that this gives us a lens through which to pierce the veil of the current way that Black people tend to reconcile difficult situations within their relationships. And I'm not trying to suggest that it's understandable or okay. Well, rather, I'm not trying to suggest that it's okay. I'm rather trying to provide some understanding as to where those types of comments would come from. If you ask me, I would rather be in a relationship where if I'm, flipping off, my woman is going to threaten to divorce me. I would rather be in that type of situation than be in a situation where the only way that I can convince her that I don't want her to go anywhere is if I pull a gun on her. That to me is wow. That's you wilding out talking like that. And again, I think that she was being completely sincere, because I think that when shit hits the fan in their relationship, that type of stuff can potentially happen. So I don't think that she is embellishing in any way when she suggests that. And I do think that she believes when he does that, he is sincerely expressing his apprehensiveness with her leaving. Or rather, his apprehension with her leaving. So this is just another variety of dysfunctionality. It just so happens, at least from what I can tell, that dysfunctionality on a whole, just like what we talked about in the last video when we talked about guys not being on their square and women seeking all of these, means by which to procure a temporary relationship, but they get to extract resources, and those two things being on a rise. I believe that we're just seeing dysfunctionality within relationships on a rise. So we're just seeing more things like this normalized to where, a chick will get on a podcast and say that. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I feel the same way. I like that in my relationship too. So these things are just becoming more mainstream and normalized. Women like her who have the profile that she does, because she, again, just like every other one of these women, has a heavy social media following. And unfortunately, people do glean how they should live their lives and some of the things that they should do and behaviors that they should adhere to and priorities that they should maintain. Unfortunately, a large percentage of us do glean how we should do that based upon what we see on our social media profiles and what we hear in our music. So when a woman like her, and you can replace her with Cardi B, or replace her with Megan Thee Stallion, or replace her with one of those city chicks, or replace her with any one of these ratchet rappers who peddles that same kind of rhetoric in their music and also in their interviews as well. The more that this kind of stuff becomes normalized in mainstream speech, the more it's going to seem sort of just a matter of normalcy for you to have that kind of inherent dysfunction in your own relationship. And that I don't think is a good thing, personally.
No, and I agree. And a lot of what these younger generations, newer generations, I guess, of people in the dating pool have been exposed to have been reality television and learning from those dysfunctional relationships. Because whether the viewers want to admit it or not, they have to output whatever they're watching. All right. So whatever comes in has to come out some way. All right. And it manifests itself in one's thoughts and processes and how to handle a relationship. I'm sitting here, in a relationship at a time, and then she's using word for word stuff that they say on reality TV shows.
Yeah.
Oh, no relationship's perfect. Oh, we can just do this. Like, girl, what are you talking about? I didn't ask for a perfect relationship. I asked you to follow the rules. I'm following the rules. You follow the rules. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
And then, but they're watching women on TV not following rules, doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
It is absolute madness. And then none of the relationships are functional.
They're not.
Even with the quote unquote love and whatever, it's all predicated on the only thing about love about that show is the love to argue.
Yes.
And the love to get into a mess.
Yes.
And messiness.
Yes. It's built on conflict. It's all conflict.
Absolute conflict.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then what happens is conflict gets manifested when you're out in the streets, because the only thing you're doing in your input system is inputting trash.
Yeah.
So these types of talking points comes from a young lady, and I can pretty much guarantee it, that she watches those shows on a regular basis. It's so much so that we think that she watches these things so much is that we've already projected earlier that she's going to be on one herself.
Yes.
She's already streamlining herself for that.
Yeah.
All right. She's building her resume to be on one of those shows.
Right.
She's qualified already.
Right.
And so this type of foolishness that we're listening to, and the sad part is these are the people that are propped up and put on to get interviewed.
That's yes.
We're interviewing her.
Yes. Yes.
Other parts of this conversation, she was talking about how Moneybagg spits in her mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need to hear that. Moneybagg didn't need you to tell us all of that. But here you go, getting interviewed because you ain't got nothing else to talk about. You got to talk about how Moneybagg do you in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Because the only thing you're good for, and the only reason why Moneybagg got you around, is for you to be in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And so this type of foolishness, where we're putting prostitutes on a couch and interviewing them,
yes.
What do you think a prostitute's going to talk about?
Absolutely.
So this is the madness that's happening right now. These are the people that are supposed to. These are our leaders.
This is the this is the mouthpiece for Black people. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Whether we like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so
100%.
And so the kid that's in middle school right now does not stand a chance. That kid in high school right now doesn't stand a chance. They're eating this shit up. You know how I know they're eating this shit up? Because I ate it up when I was in high school. Yeah. I was eating up all this crap that they was putting on TV. So the crap that they're putting on Instagram, Facebook, and every app in between is tearing these kids' heads up. Boy, look out 10 years from now. I don't know what they're going to be into. You know what I'm saying? But regular sexual stimulation probably won't be enough. You're probably going to be like those weird people that you hear because they had electrodes taped to their scrotum while they're watching some stuff. It's like, he died doing what? What are you doing? Yeah, taking his fellatio machine in the shower.
Yeah.
Bro, you're not supposed to. It said it was waterproof. Boy, you crazy. Instead of having a real woman in the shower, you're gonna take the fellatio machine. In
the pocket vagina.
Pocket vagina. That's where we're at, sir. This is it. And so all of this stuff ties in. So hey, man, kudos to her. She does look good. She's a good piece of eye candy, Mr. Moneybagg. And so I'm not mad at that. Unfortunately, your eye candy is around here talking about what y'all do in the bedroom together. All right. And so this is the price you pay also too, bro, by the way. I'm pretty sure he doesn't care. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure he's like, damn, you couldn't talk about nothing else? You got to talk about our sex life in there? With this woman, she don't give a shit.
I don't think I think that he enjoyed her saying that as much as she enjoyed saying it.
Honestly, because he is who he is, he probably do like it. He probably got more women he can spit in their mouth on. Yeah. Just like Trey Songz was on there with his OnlyFans.
Wilding out, yeah. Wilding out because he don't give a damn.
You see that video?
Yeah, Trey Songz don't give a damn.
With him spitting on them girls?
He doesn't care. Trey Songz doesn't care. He doesn't care.
I forgot what I was talking about. I'm talking about Moneybagg Yo like he think like me. So he probably was enjoying the fact that not all the authorities know that I be going crazy.
He liked her saying that just as much as she likes saying it. Trust me.
I hope not, Moneybagg.
It's two sides of the same coin. He liked her saying it just as much as she likes saying it.
Hey man, well, whatever. Yeah, the dysfunctionality is real. Let's say that, right? And so, but yeah, man, this is just to me. This is just I've heard these conversations before, bruh. You know, and I will pull chicks and they talk like her. This is a dynamic, you know, and she's just a pretty one, and that's it. But I've heard these conversations before, man. It's unfortunate. I don't know what kind of households some of these girls was raised in. because when you try to be normal to them, they I don't know what they don't know how to interpret it.
They don't
They
respond
have
well to it. Yeah,
they haven't
they
seen it.
resist
They
it.
don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't have.
you have to be dysfunctional with them, because to them that is what a
What's normal.
relationship is. Like,
Yeah.
so, like, she kind of reminds me, and another thing that I wanted to kind of point out, and it reminded me of when we talked about Jada Pinkett and how she used to, and how she, it's kind of been dragging Will Smith a little bit. I think one of the videos that we made talking about some of the comments that she made, I referenced her relationship with Pac. And, I said then, I kind of feel like, with a woman like Jada Pinkett, she looks at a guy like Tupac, and she has in her mind internalized that this is what a masculine man actually is a guy like Pac. And so, for a guy like Will Smith, unfortunately for him, she doesn't look at you that way, because in her mind, a black man, or rather even a strong masculine black man, acts like Pac. So the thing is, and so women like Jada Pinkett, unfortunately, in the black community are a dime a dozen. And Ari Fletcher, to me, reminds me of that. So for her, she's one of those women who perceives a masculine black man to be a guy who will pull his gun on you. To her, that's masculinity. To her, that's what a real nigga, quote unquote, should do. Right? Yeah. So, like, that is what we're dealing with, is these stratifications of character profiles amongst the black community, and how there are differences amongst the ranks. And I think that most of the women, especially the ones who are physically attractive, adhere to that type of mentality. And so they look at the Tupacs of the world, the Moneybagg Yos of the world, and all of these other guys like that, who fit that bill, who match that profile. And they say, in order to be a man, you should be acting like that. And so if you don't act like that, you're less of a man to me, and therefore I wouldn't want to be with you. And I feel like that's what's in play here a little bit to some extent. I see that kind of stuff with us, particularly as black people, uniquely. And that's why I kind of feel, we talked a lot about, we feel like Jada doesn't really respect Will Smith. She be saying all the stuff that she says because she doesn't respect his position. Well, why wouldn't you respect the guy as a woman? Because you just don't respect his stature as a man. But she does respect Tupac. What's the difference between the two of them? As far as I can tell, they're both builders. They both care about their communities. They both make good decisions. So what's the difference between two of them? One acts out and be wilding out and saying crazy stuff, and another one is more subdued and doesn't act like that. And so for you, the one who acts out and says crazy stuff and talks about robbing, shooting, stealing, and killing, that's the guy that you perceive to be more manly. And I think that that is a unique perception of black men to a lot of black women. I don't think black women, for example, look at a white man and attach that same sort of requirement. But if you're black, it's like you have to play up to that trope, or they simply don't respect your position.
You know what? That's racist. That's true. That's actually racist from black women to do that to us.
It's reverse racist. Yeah, it is. It is. But that's what it is. Like, that's.
I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
But to be fair, the ones that actually decide to make the jump, because that's a commitment for a black woman to do that. Brothers do it all day. But for a black woman to actually jump over there and date a white guy, I kind of think she was already on that wavelength anyway. I don't think she would have required me.
No. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, okay, so a chick like Ari Fletcher wouldn't get with a white guy. I don't think.
No.
But she's nevertheless, despite the fact that she wouldn't get with a white guy, she nevertheless applies different standards of manliness, juxtaposed to the race. Does that make sense?
I got you.
Yeah. So even though she ain't built that way. She ain't gonna get with a white guy. But she still looks at a white guy and says, oh, a white guy who is not acting like Moneybagg Yo, she can still perceive that guy to be a masculine man.
Yeah, that's factual.
But when it comes to a black man, to her, you're not a masculine man unless you're Moneybagg Yoing it up.
That is a very interesting theory, sir. That does need to be unpacked. I haven't heard that angle before, but I've witnessed it. And
Yeah.
you just saying that, even imposing it on her. She wouldn't even date a white man, but that doesn't even have to be about dating.
Right.
She'll see a white guy at the whatever, and he just looking like whatever. To her, I say he's a man doing his manly thing.
Right.
I'm over there doing the same thing. Look at his duck ass.
Yeah.
His duck ass doing over there. Oh, he got a bag, but he don't know how to. He can't handle me.
Yeah.
Handle what? What are you talking about? What is it? What is this extra stuff?
Yeah.
Very true, bro.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. And that I believe that's just another form of poison that exists in our people. That it'll probably never be extracted because it's rooted in economics. So until you have less black people who are disenfranchised, this is what you're going to see because it's rooted in economics. But still that happens, and so it opens up a whole additional can of worms because it factors into why you see more black men date out. That not saying that that's the whole reason why, but it's another piece of the puzzle.
That's clean. That's
right?
a clean explanation. That's clean explanation. I haven't never thought of that angle before.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So it's another piece of the puzzle. But nevertheless, it's just dysfunctionality at its finest. At this point, I'm numb to people saying stupid shit on the internet. So I'm not mad about it. I expect it. I look at her, I hear the way she talks. Some of the things that she's posted about. She's the kind of guy she's with. This comes as no shock that she would say these types of things. So I'm not surprised. But, I felt as though it was worth the conversation because, it just gives us another angle with which to kind of understand what you're seeing. Like when you're out in the world and you're seeing dysfunctionality play out and you're just trying to make sense of it all, like, here you go. Like, this is another way for us to kind of understand what's going on and why it seems to continue to become even more pervasive every day. It's like, it's not subsiding, it's just getting worse. So, but there you have it, man. So, congratulations to Ari Fletcher and Moneybagg, I guess. I'm pretty sure that we will be seeing her in short order on a, derivative of a Love and Hip Hop show. I'm convinced she just fits the bill. I can see it. It's like I can see the future. I see it. She's gonna be on those shows, and she'll be getting a quote unquote bag. So I guess good for her. I can't be a hypocrite, right? I said the more rich black people exist, the better. So by hook or by crook, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. If she ends up becoming financially free, well, she's obviously in another tax bracket than even myself. But beyond that, building something for herself and not just benefiting off of her relationship to, Moneybagg, But yeah, there you go. That'll do it. I'm exhausted from dysfunction talk for today. Yeah, that'll do it for the live stream for tonight, man. This is a lot of fun. These are two interesting topics. I just like how we can take, otherwise innocuous things going on and really be able to kind of, extrapolate real things from them, because I don't think anything is ever as simple as it seems. There's always a deeper explanation behind everything. But be that as it may, man, we'll go ahead and close it out for tonight. As always, the full content library for this platform is available on the website, consciousapproach.com. If you are watching this video on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you can get those notifications whenever new content is posted. We have upped the ante in terms of consistency with posting to the content, and it will continue. It won't stop, so you can be on the lookout for that. If you're watching this video on the Facebook page, hit the share button, hit the like button, follow the page if you're not following the page. I always appreciate you supporting logical content. You can follow the Conscious Approach page on Instagram at ConApproach, CONAPPROACH, as well as on Facebook, Conscious Approach. You can find me on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS, as well as on Facebook at James Ogden, JVIS, OGDEN, as well as on the Twitter, even though I don't post there all that much, at James Ogden, same spelling, JVIS, OGDEN. So look forward to, being able to chop it up with the community as we continue to grow. And until the next video, as always, continue to support logical content.
Yep. And the name is Dogon SS. All right. You can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS. Also on YouTube at Dogon SS. Go ahead and subscribe on over there. And if you are a DFS person, so that's daily fantasy, man, I'm on DraftKings too. So just find me over there at Dogon_SS. Just send me like an invite or whatever, and I'll crush you to smithereens. All right. So but yeah, and as I always say, man, stay chill, man. Keep it player. Stay balanced, man, and take some time out for yourself, man, in the mornings or something. Give yourself 15 minutes of you time where you're not even listening to music, man. You're just tuning out and tapping into yourself. It goes a long way if you do it enough. So make sure you always keep a little bit of yourself for yourself. That's what my dad always say, man. So stay focused, man. Stay chill. You know what I mean?
Facts, man. Yeah. Meditate. Meditation helps. I started doing it. It helps, but you just don't. If you're on Instagram 5 hours a day, just try to curb that down to maybe 4 or 3 hours a day. Just get off of these things a little bit because
save yourself.
Yeah, like we talk about you, especially as men. Like this is more important for men because women, I don't give a damn. Women can still get the things that they want. Women don't need a square. Women can just exist and get what they want. But like as a man, we talk about being on your square. There's nothing that puts you off your square more than exposing yourself to inordinate amounts of social media content and all of this internet stuff to sort of just get your brain in areas where it doesn't need to be. Like just, work on not doing so much of that. Like for real, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, they need to legalize gambling down here in Florida, man. I downloaded the DraftKings Sportsbook app because I was going to start betting. And it's not legal here yet, so the app doesn't allow me to bet on games.
So the sports book won't let you bet.
Not DraftKings. Yeah, I'm just talking about because there's the DraftKings app and then there's DraftKings Sportsbook.
Right.
DraftKings Sportsbook is where you can bet.
Actually, do the betting.
Yeah. And so I don't know if it's legal in Texas, but it ain't here yet. Not in Florida.
Damn, Florida, tighten up, man.
Yeah. We tripping.
Tighten up.
Yeah. I'm waiting for it to get legal because I'm ready to start betting on it because the apps just make stuff easier. So I'm ready to start put placing bets. But Florida always behind, man. I'm tired of this backwards ass thing. Even though I don't want to go nowhere because I don't like winters. But we'll go ahead and close it out, man. That was some bonus talk for y'all at the end of the stream. Appreciate you supporting logical content, man. Until next time, we'll see you later. We out.
Peace.